Awesome. Looks like we're live.
Here we go.
And we are live. Sorry about that, guys. We're a little bit into game 2. It looks like we have another Gruul Stompy versus Humans game. Let's see if...
I cannot tell what card the Gruul Stompy deck is played, but based on colors, I can assume it's probably a Mana Dork.
It is probably a Llanowar Elves or an Elvish Mystic.
Those are the Mana Dorks in the deck.
Yes.
Looks like he has another Llanowar Elves in hand, so
yes.
He may be rushing a...
Oh, so he's playing a Llanowar Elves?
2 mana floating.
Oh, he's abrading.
Looks like he can't.
He can't if that's not a Mana Dork.
He has to...
I'm going to go let him know.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I think he let him know. He let him know of the Thalia. Okay.
Which means that's probably not a Mana Dork.
That is... Oh, we're getting interrupted. Sorry about this, guys. We got to do a little bit of test to see if stuff can not continue working.
Talking to our network guy.
We're talking to our network guy to see if we can stop these issues from happening. There we go. Alright, we'll find out what's going on. Oh, yeah, so he played out an Elvish Mystic, and now we've got a Lovestruck Beast. I still can... That might be a Scavenging Ooze.
That could be Skoos. Could be Skoos. Who else but Skoos? The best. One of the best bears in the game.
One of the best bears in the game. Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, because I think that's... Oh, and we got a Giant Killer on the Lovestruck Beast. Very good.
Now, what is the questing cost for Lovestruck?
I believe it is 3. So he paid 4.
You did have to pay all 4 for it.
But that's still fine because...
Symmetrical.
But getting rid of that Lovestruck Beast will make... Because he does have those 1 mana, or the 1/1s, that will put Lovestruck Beast online.
Yes, so killing the Lovestruck Beast, I think, is the correct...
That is the correct play. Even though it does cost you 4 mana, you already are pushing out creatures, and he doesn't want to lose his creatures already. Because if he blocks the Thraben Inspector, you're just getting a clue off of it and killing the Dauntless. You're losing a creature anyways. Oh, and we're seeing a second Skoos, I believe.
Yep, that is another Skoos, assuming that the first one is a Skoos. We still cannot see it.
We are assuming. Oh, nope, we can confirm it is a Skoos. He lifted up the card.
Skoos confirmed.
And he did exile his Lovestruck Beast to gain a life and put a counter on Skoos.
It does look like... Okay, yep.
And we have dice.
We have...
Awesome.
Dice.
We're a professional now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spectre of Defiance is a powerhouse.
That is going to be a powerhouse in this game.
It is a powerhouse in every format that has come down.
Yeah. Oh, and it looks like we missed. We've got a Blood-Soaked Champion, and he did play his Giant Killer.
Yeah.
Oh, and we can see it in the top corner. He does have a Thalia's Lieutenant. It looks like this game is going much better for the Humans player.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's just swinging out.
I don't think it's stream caught, but we are doing kind of unusual sideboarding.
We are doing unusual sideboarding. The host of the event has made it that you can only sideboard in between sets, not games.
Which seems
kind of it is kind of in.
It might be a time thing.
It could be a time constraint issue. In the long run, honestly, I don't know how much it'll affect, but we are going to be seeing this what really is making Thalia's Lieutenant the best, where he's swinging out.
Yeah.
Now he's just in here. He's the one pressuring.
Oh
no. That is a third Scavenging Ooze.
Is that, or did he just pick up and put his... No, yeah, his Skoos died and then he played another.
He blocked his Scavenging Ooze. We're seeing the Skoos eat the Skoos.
Skoos is eating Skoos.
And he did forget that Scavenging Ooze does gain you a life for exiling.
Yep, but... It's on the players to catch that.
It is on the players to catch that. We cannot catch every single thing. Oh, nope, now he caught his life gain.
Yep, he's up to
so they are tied on life totals right now.
But
the
Humans has a much crazier board presence.
Yep,
right
the Gruul player, while he is powerful, if he does draw that, he does have a Glory Bringer in hand.
And
he's missing that second red is the problem.
All of his hand, every card in his hand has the double red. And so he does not talk.
Oh, and now we also are seeing Mutavault from the Humans player.
Yep.
Making it a 2/2 creature with all creature types. is just he's just swinging out.
Mutavault has had a large presence in all constructed formats since its printing.
Yeah.
Even in decks that aren't tribal decks.
Or even decks that are singleton decks like Commander.
Yeah.
It is. And we're doing that. We're figuring out math.
Math is for blockers.
Math is in fact for blockers until it's not.
Yeah. And this may be a situation where it's not, but I think everything can survive blocking.
And it looks like he's just not blocking anything.
Oh, wow.
Wow, he's down to 5. If he doesn't draw a mountain here, and that is game 1.
Game 1.
I don't believe that there is an out for this player, but it looks like they're playing it out still. They're being respectful.
I am not that way.
If I see the writing on the wall, I'm definitely just calling that.
You know, Pioneer, they're going so
Yep,
far
and
back.
there they go.
Yeah. Humans has made me want to rebuild one of my favorite decks in a Pioneer format. I haven't been able to play it since Eldritch Moon Standard.
What deck is that? Is that Hats?
It is Hats.
Yep.
It is a deck where the
Yep,
only
our commentator here, he is a very big purveyor of Hat Tribal.
And the only rule to Hat Tribal is you can only use cards that have hats in the artwork.
And humans wear a lot of hats on Eldritch Moon.
Yep, in Estrad, they got that tricorn hat. It's very strong. And even, like, you get very strong creatures in that. You get Thalia's lieutenants, you get
Thalia,
You get
I'm
Thalia.
pretty sure.
Thalia does not wear hats.
Does Thalia not wear
Maybe in
hats?
her new artwork she does. But at the last time I had played the deck, there was no Thalia with a hat.
Really? Interesting.
So-
That is interesting.
Yeah. Which means you also have to get the right printing,
Which means that you can't always choose the cheaper one.
no.
For all of you
Oftentimes,
budget players.
it's not a budget-friendly deck if you want to
No,
go.
it is
you wanna
not.
Commit to the bit.
Commit to the bit. I like that.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're drawing our first hands. It's looking like the Orzhov player. Oh, is he? He only drew 3 cards. Okay. We're seeing some Rally of the Ranks, Mutavault,
I think.
Unclaimed Territory. So he does have good mana to start off.
Yes. Does he have more than one land though?
Yes, he does. The Gruul player is mulling. He had 1 land. I saw he had an Elvish Mystic and 1 land in all high drops.
It's like he's not getting the nut straw this time.
Yeah, it looks like he might be having a little bit of a harder game.
In the first match with that player, he was able to tempo incredibly well, stay on curve, and just keep very proactive threats. And this one, humans are just
That first game with the double Glorybringer, that game,
double Glorybringer questing beast.
that is probably the most oppressive that deck will ever get.
Yeah. The problem is, well-timed giant killer.
Is what's sunk in that. Yep, we see a Caves of Koilos and
And a
Unclaimed Territory.
Mutavault.
We're seeing a Mutavault, and we have Rally of the Ranks and Thalia in his hand.
And it looks like an unclaimed territory, maybe.
Yeah, that is Unclaimed Territory, Mutavault,
Which means he
and
won't
a
have
Caves
to
of
pressure.
Koilos.
Which means he won't have to pressure his own life total using Caves of Koilos.
But if he does have issue with colors where he might need I think the only time he'll have to pressure his life total with that is if he
That
has.
is not
That is.
good.
Oh no! It looks like he's going down to 5
4 or 5.
because this is his second mulligan.
Yep.
I don't know if they are playing with the 1 friendly mulligan. Oh, it looks like he's doing a pile shuffle.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
This game might end before it even begins.
Yeah, the Gruul Stompy player might be getting stomped
That's the
on.
problem with a deck like Gruul Stompy that plays high-end threats is
You need to have that early game mana.
if you don't, though, that's why I like low to the ground decks personally. One of my favorite decks is play Tempered Steel.
Tempered Steel.
So Tempered Steel is 1 white for an enchantment that gives artifact creatures +2/+2.
Yep.
You
I think that came in the new Urza Precon.
it did, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. I just bought the deck.
But it
I
had-
should probably know.
It is only playable in Pioneer or maybe Historic Online because it was reprinted in an Alchemy reprint set. It was like Alchemy Horizons or whatever.
Alchemy is an interesting format.
It's a lot more fun than you think.
Yeah,
People
because
people
it gives a different twist to Magic. It also does look like there is Dire Hunt in the Orzhov player's hand, which means that any sort of big problem coming out will be able to be dealt with at instant speed. And hopefully he can get out a human fast enough so he's not pressuring his life total with it. This might be interesting. Let's see, can the
There's land,
Oh,
but he's
there's
gonna,
land.
He's gonna have to pick what he keeps, because I believe
He does have an Elvish Mystic. Oh, and it looks like he's so it looks like they are
we
playing
doing
with
the-
one friendly mulligan.
Are we doing? I wonder if they're doing the 7-7-6-6-5-5-4-4 mulligan rules.
No, I think what they're doing is that your first mulligan is free, and then after that you go down. You go down to 6th and 5th and 4th and 3rd and 2th and 1.
Okay.
Oh, he just bought him an Elvish Mystic in top deck, the Llanowar Elves. That's a very strong play. Strong
Yeah,
one.
not having to.
Worry about that mana issue. Oh, and it looks like we're getting that. Oh, we're getting Rally the Ranks.
Rally the ranks early. It's going to really
Affect.
I think putting
He
it
did
down
have to
early-
pressure his life total for that one, though.
He did,
because
but
it
I
was-
think putting it down early will help keep it from
'Cause then you're-
dying to the removal. It'll make its threats harder to remove.
Yeah, and also there
You see
isn't
there's
much.
a Thalia in his hand as well.
And there isn't much enchantment removal in the Rule Stompy deck.
I
So
don't think there's any.
there isn't any. There might be some in
on the
sideboard.
but
We can check. There is not.
so against it looks like.
Oh no,
both
there
are
is.
down.
There is Cindervines.
But Cindervine.
Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Cindervines deals 1 damage to that player, and you can pay 1 sack Cindervine to destroy a target artifact or enchantment and deal 2 damage to that permanent's controller.
Oh. So we are seeing the only creature that humans has on board right now is a Thraben Inspector. However, this Thraben Inspector is a 3/4 for 1.
Yeah. What is that card? What is that glaring card that the Gruul Stompy player has played?
Could that have been his Elvish Mystic? Or no, he top decked the Elvish Mystic, right?
It could be another Scavenging Ooze.
It could be a Scoos. He is 3 mana tapped. But having both those enchantments down, it's going to make this a very tough game.
Did the Orzhov player cracked a clue?
Yes.
Did they have a Thraben Inspector die? Or is Thraben Inspector on Enter the Battlefield?
I don't know if Thraben Inspector is ETB or death. It's been a while since I played it, but it is a
It is Enter the Battlefield.
It
Okay.
was a staple of Innistrad Standard.
It is. It was, yeah. It's so good for 1 mana. It looks like that is...
What is that a...
Is that Lovestruck?
That might be Lovestruck.
Because Lovestruck is 3 mana.
He's down to
7 already.
That is huge.
Oh, and there's the Dire Hunt.
That was a quest.
That was a Questing Beast.
See?
That makes sense. Okay, so we don't know what that card is. The Questing Beast he just played for 4.
Okay. It had to be a mana dork then, because he only has 2 lands.
Yes.
Okay, so...
That is a Thalia's Lieutenant, or that is a Luminarch Aspirant.
That's huge.
That is very
That's
huge.
huge for this.
Man, being at 7 life now, this humans player is going to be very far on the back foot.
We do
do see a
to note.
Glory Bringer.
He doesn't have the second red though.
He doesn't have the second red.
And all it's going to take is...
Oh no, he has another land back there, so he does have 2 red.
He does. It is just off frame. Okay.
The grand finals is separation. No. We already did a racing
So let's see here. Is he going to play that Glorybringer, or is he going to play Chandra, Torch of Defiance?
I think the Glorybringer is better here.
I think the Glorybringer just seals the deal.
Glorybringer puts him down to 2.
And it'll also kill that Luminarch Aspirant. But it does look like he's playing another Lovestruck. He's playing a Lovestruck Beast. Because he only has 3 mana. That is not a mana dork, I don't think. What?
That's another Lovestruck.
That is a Lovestruck.
You can...
He did have 3 lands, so that's how he was able to play the Questing Beast. It was just out of frame.
Yeah.
It looks like we've got another.
That's a Thalia's
That is a
Lieutenant.
Thalia's Lieutenant.
It
I
is
thought
a-
that was Fall Veil.
He does, yeah.
But then he just drew another land, so.
I think.
So
I think
yep,
we're
it
going
looks.
game 3.
Well, let's see what he does. If he does manage to play this wrong,
I don't know.
I don't think
I don't
he's
think there's
going
a way to
to.
play this wrong.
I don't think he can, because he has so many different.
Guaranteed
He also
2
has.
damage in hand.
He also
I
has
mean,
Mizium Mortars.
Well, Mizium Mortars is not gonna.
It's not gonna do anything here. Let's
wanna
see.
play
Oh,
it.
he's looking at the Glory Bringer.
He's going with the Glorybringer.
He's going with the
Ingo.
Glory Bringer. Well, if he had the white and black up, then the humans player would be threatening another Dire Hunt. But because he doesn't, I don't think it really matters because there was no blocker. That was just not a good game for the humans player. Got out to a strong start, but the
Dude,
mana
double
dorks
love-
just
mana dork into 2 Lovestruck Beasts and a Questing Beast.
That just shows how good this Gruul Stompy deck is. Even on the back foot of game 1, it's still going down to 6. I mean, it's too good.
Yeah, the games can be super swingy with a deck like that.
That's just Pioneer in a nutshell. Most of the decks can just
printing.
You get 3 Narsets in the sideboard as well, which
Normally?
It also comes with Thing in the Ice.
Come to the esports zone, that would be ideal.
Which Thing in the Ice is such a good card that it jumped up to $20 because of Pioneer.
Thing in the Ice also led to one of the most oppressive. It was the first card to ever get banned in Standard since Jace the Mind.
Oh, it looks like it's back up. We're good.
Since Jace the Mind Sculptor. There we go.
There we are. All right, and it looks like they have drawn. It looks like
he played him.
It looks like he kept a hand with a Scavenging Ooze and either just get a full hotspot. Oh yeah. There we go. All right, so it looks like it looks like he played the Scavenging Ooze and then it got destroyed because he has that 1 mana destroy target creature with power 2 or less.
I can't tell, but it does look like there may actually be a 4th mountain in play. It's just off the screen.
Nope.
He did play a mountain off.
This is turn 3.
Yep. Okay. It was considered to be red Jace.
Yeah. It getting reprinted in the Chandra spellbook as well. And it looks like we've got a little bit more. We got to rally the ranks.
And that is a Chandra on the field,
which he is killing very quickly.
As you should. You do.
I'm wondering. Like he played the Planeswalker. What did he do with it?
So.
He might have.
He did not do the one where it produces mana, I believe, because I believe that is the one that deals damage to an opponent.
Let me check.
Let me pull this up so we can see.
Here, I've got it right here. So Chandra is +1, exile the top card of your library, and if you may cast it. If you don't, it deals 2 damage to each opponent.
So he must have
+1 to add 2 mana.
I don't know what he had done.
Did he just not use it?
Did he pop it and then play it? He may have hit a land off of it. No,
because he would have dealt 2 damage. He might have just not done anything. That might have been a misplay. He might have thought that it had summoning sickness like a creature, which sometimes can be a mistake.
Yeah. There is. So you just open the properties. You don't even have to reselect it. You can use it, okay?
Yeah. It looks like the Glorybringer died.
What happened? What happened?
What did we miss?
Did he not exert it?
I don't know.
I wonder if he didn't exert it because there was no blockers.
But then why did the Chandra die?
I don't know. But it's not looking good. Also, okay, his land's in his hand.
So it looks like Jason Jenkins is here. So it looks like he's going to be helping to judge here, so I don't have to keep running over.
That's good.
But it does look like... Oh, it looks like we're seeing a Lovestruck Beast. That might be another Scavenging Ooze. Oh, and it looks like we're seeing the adventure off Lovestruck Beast 2.
Yep. I mean, he has to get bodies on the field now.
It looks like this game might be close to over, though.
Something happened.
Something definitely did happen. Oh, and it looks like we're seeing another kite sail.
The
animation.
Bango Bongo to the esports zone.
Bango Bongo. And with the Mutavault, it looks like there's also... Oh, and it looks like we're just getting a swing out.
Yeah.
There is...
You know what they say, math is for blockers.
I think, though, with... Oh, and that is the Glorybringer. The Glorybringer did not die. It was... That's that card.
Okay, so
the Chandra died.
He just had it in his hand, picked up.
I think he might have picked it up and showed it to somebody.
He must have, been that turn that Glorybringer came down. He had to have used Chandra to make the mana for it. He's still on 4 lands. Which means he can, any Lovestruck Beast he gets puts two bodies on the field.
And it looks like the blocks from him killed the humans. That Chandra, though, is still stuck.
That Chandra is stuck. And if he swings, I mean, there's just not
There's not that Glory Bringer though.
He does. And it didn't look like it was exerted, so.
Oh, and it looks like another Love Struck Beast came down, and the giant killer on the Glory Bringer.
Yep, they're standing up.
And he's done. That is the
game.
game. That is round 2. It looks like the humans player got the win there.
Wins. Humans got there.
That was definitely a round 2. Yeah, you can just tell the insanity of that game by the fact that they were standing up by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows that both decks can swing very hard, and especially in one where every deck is kind of on the same power. Because I believe did these two decks come out of the same generation of Pioneer decks?
So the Is It Phoenix deck, the Dimir Control deck, the Gruul Stompy deck, and the Orzhov Humans deck are all from this second generation of Pioneer decks.
And those
the original ones.
stronger ones.
The original ones was Mono Red Burn, Sultai Lotus Field combo.
Yep. I wonder if we'll see the Lotus Field combo.
They had one copy of it.
So I'm curious because
that deck has a very interesting sideboard. It has 2 Peer into the Abysses and Omniscience.
Because don't you wish it in?
So you use the Wish Fairy with the Adventure.
Yep, you adventure 2 of them. Omniscience and Peer into the Abyss.
Not just that, you have Approach of the Second Sun.
Oh, so yeah.
So you wish in Omniscience, Approach to the Second Sun, and then you use cards like Pour Over the Pages to cast them, draw cards, and untap your Lotus Fields.
Yeah. Okay.
And
you
then
got
we've also
Zero Tumbling Sands as well.
but then the other decks that are currently from the older sets we also have Azorius Spirits and Orzhov Equipments.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see if we do see the Lotus Field combo, though.
If we do see Lotus Field combo, it is a much slower deck.
And it requires the right pilot.
Yeah, because you need to get those very early land drops so you can start sacrificing and bringing in those Lotus Fields.
Yeah.
You get you have Thespian stages to copy your Lotus Fields. You just need to be able to get as many Lotus Fields so you can start getting as much mana as possible.
Yeah. Approach of the Second Sun is a card that I've always loved.
Yeah, since it got printed, it's always been.
It was not good on printing.
It was not good on printing.
What broke it? So I actually played the Azorius Control deck before the Teferi was printed in Dominaria.
That Hero of Dominaria?
The
one in War of the Spard?
No, Hero of Dominaria.
The one that untaps lands.
Yeah, the one that really broke the format.
Yeah.
It was one of the most oppressive decks for its time in there, but it never forced a ban, which is surprising. I would have thought the Teferi would have gotten banned.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Teferi, the Teferi from War of the Spard.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Temporal Archmage.
Yep.
Because of the ability to bounce things, the ability to just cast sorceries at instant speed, and be able to just stop your opponents from interacting with you. It's so hard hitting.
So have there been any goofy decks you've played in, like Standard, Modern, any of these formats?
So, I actually, back in my hometown, we had a very fun sort of way where when we were playing Modern, we all had our pet decks. The decks that we played, mine was Affinity. We had Infect players. I was playing during New Phyrexia. Well, something that happened was somebody came to our store with 5 boxes full of Lorwyn. So the idea is, we basically had every other week, on Mondays, you would come into the store, reach in, grab a random Lorwyn card, and you had to build your deck with a theme of that card in mind. So if you pulled a Lorwyn Treefolk, you were building Treefolk. Okay. You were able to use whatever cards you had, but you had to build, and that had to be the main theme.
So you were bound by a theme. Okay, that's a really...
So there were times where I've seen people play Kithkin Stoneforge Mystic. I've seen people play Flying Merfolk. I mean, I've seen so many things. My favorite one that I played was Treefolk Fling, where I would buff my Treefolk, swap their power and toughness so that they wouldn't die, but they would have big power, and then I was just flinging them.
That is.
And that was probably my favorite deck that I've played over these years of Magic.
Very interesting.
Other than Hat Tribal, have you played any very wonky, out-of-place decks?
So the first iteration of Approach of the Second Sun was a Vizier of the Tumbling Sands combo. Because you didn't have the consistent ways that Planeswalkers to draw cards and untap them, because I hadn't been printed yet. Because I played this during Hour of Devastation Standard.
Which was such an interesting standard.
It was an interesting thing. You know,
With the Scarab
Hour of
God?
Devastation, oh, that card was insane. But I played two iterations of it. There was the Azorius one, and then there's the Jeskai. Because I figured, if I'm drawing all these cards, you know what works really good? The Locust God. As well as it gave me more onboard removal. That got boring. One of my favorite decks in all of Standard I've played was during Kaladesh and Aether Revolt Standard. It was the Panharmonicon Puzzle Knot deck, which it was a mono red deck that used you had three of the puzzle knots. The best one was the white one because it made servos, and then you had Aether hubs to be able to crack your puzzle knots without having to board in actual lands. And your win condition was Reckless Fireweaver, which whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, it does 1 damage. Panharmonicon does
Doubles
2.
the equipment, or doubles the enter the battlefield effects of creatures and artifacts.
Yes.
Which just makes Reckless Fireweaver nuts.
So one of the most nuts play you could do was Reckless Fireweaver with Panharmonicon. You play the white puzzle knot, right?
And then you're dealing 4 damage.
4 damage, and then you crack it, it produces another 2 servos, I believe. So off of 1 and 6 mana, you're doing 8 damage.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
have 2
saw.
Fire Weavers in play or 2 Panharmonicons, it can just kill. Actually, if it's 2 Panharmonicons, it just kills.
Yep. Something actually is back during the new Phyrexia block. There was one deck. We had a lot of people who were like, "Oh, Infect is a really good mechanic," so they were running Podfect. There was one person who decided to go up against the grain, and he played a deck based around the creature that says players cannot get poison counters.
That's
Miari, I think?
Miari, or yeah.
She's
She's a mono green.
She's a mono green 2-drop, and his entire deck was just getting that creature in play, and then he was just basically playing Stompy.
Yeah, so that's an interesting way to play a Stompy deck, is to just
Because
Counter
it also stops creatures from getting counters,
Yeah.
so it stops your opponent's infect creatures from getting bigger on the chance of your Miari dying.
Speaking of getting counters, one of the more interesting decks. It's a Pillow Fort lock deck. That if your opponents don't have enchantment removal, you can't lose the game. So, you can't lose the game to damage. The combo is Solemnity, which states that players and permanents can't gain counters, and Phyrexian Unlife, which means you don't lose the game for your life total being 0. Any damage
that would be dealt to you would be dealt as infect counters, but because you cannot get counters, you do not take the infect, so you will not die.
There's a version of this that exists in Commander. Obviously, there's the Phyrexian Unlife one, but the more annoying one is 9 lives with Phyrexian Unlife.
Yep.
Because I believe 9 lives has Hexproof.
9 lives does have hexproof, yes. There was actually there have been some very funky decks in Magic.
There have been one of my favorite decks is actually a Pioneer deck or a Historic. There's 2 versions of it.
Yep.
I play the Historic one, specifically the Alchemy one. It is a Jund Food deck.
Yep.
Do you know what the win condition is?
I'm pretty sure it's Gilded Goose?
No, Gilded Goose helps advance.
Or no, it's not Gilded Goose. Which one? Is it the big creature that you could sack food tokens?
It is a cat called Cauldron Familiar.
Yes, that's that one. Yep.
And
isn't it when it dies, your opponent loses a life?
When it enters the battlefield or leaves play, I believe, they lose a life and you gain a life, and you can sacrifice a food to put it back into play.
So you use the cauldron.
You use the Witch's
Oven
Yep.
to sack it, make a food token, drain, sacrifice it, bring it back into play.
Yeah, so Gruul is one way to play. Not Gruul.
Jund.
Golgari,
Or Golgari.
is the base colors. Well, technically,
What does Jund add to it?
Jund adds really funny guy. I can't. It adds Corval.
It adds Corvald, Fey, Curse King. That is so true because you sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar, put a counter on him, and draw a card. Sack the food token.
It was food.
I also remember back in the day where running Kess as just a value deck was also super viable, where you just ran card draw.
Yeah, Magic has
crazy
advanced
power so much.
Like looking back at some of the strongest decks in the format, they're like mid-tier today.
Like
in every format.
Like remember when Rafik the Many was a deck? Like that was like top priority.
Ural the Miststalker used to be a prio deck.
I think Ural, honestly, with what they've printed, is still like a top tier deck.
You just don't see it as often.
You don't see it as often because Ural hasn't been printed very much, so it's hard to get your hands on a copy of it.
Unless people just know you exist.
And then there's also the prices of the 2017 Eminence Commanders going up in price.
Eminence
The
was a
Ur-Dragon is $100. Yep, you have Edgar, who is easily over $100. The Arabo Precon is $150.
Then there's the one that I play, which probably isn't going up in price.
How much is Inala right now? We can check. Let me check that really quick for you.
So yeah, the winning combo now with Inala is you are using
Stas's Oracle.
Stas's Oracle and Spellseeker. Back in the day when I first played that deck,
Yeah, Nala is only about $3.
Let's go, budget.
Arabo, I don't think is very expensive either. Arabo is only $5. The reason why the Ur-Dragon went up in price is because of Commander Legends 2 Battle for Baldur's Gate, giving you those ancient dragons, giving you Mirren.
Mirim is the one dragon I've wanted to build, but dragons are just so expensive right now.
Yep, you've got Tiamat coming in. Oh, and it looks like we've got the next game coming on. Let's see what we've got here.
This guy was very excited to be playing in the event.
Yep. Let's see what deck he's playing. So it looks like we are seeing the same Orzhov